This is Tekken Dating. So, I have made a Tekken Dating list because I am a man who has way too much time on his hands. But here we go. We have 5 categories: fuckboy, has fun, loyal, bad at dating, and not interested. Fuckboy. They fuck around, they fuck chicks, or the girls fuck guys and they don't stick around. And they're not necessarily nice about it either. They may ghost you afterwards. Yeah, these are people maybe a bit selfish, and yeah, that's a fuckboy. Anyway, let's start. Fuckboy. And the first character we have is Anna Williams. Fuckboy, Anna Williams. Funny, she's the only girl on this list. The character Anna Williams, it's always been suggested that she's very sexually confident, let's say. And yeah, Anna's not a fucking saint, so I reckon she can get around, and I reckon she goes to proper guys once or twice in her lifetime. Lee Chang Lao may be one of them. I don't know if it's canon that those two were together at one point, but I mean, in the movie, the original cartoon movie, they definitely had a thing. And in Tekken 5, they had a interlude where yeah, they were flirting. So yeah, I reckon Anna's definitely a fuckboy or fuckgirl. Do fuckgirls even exist? Questions for later. Second one, Brian Fury. I wouldn't recommend any woman or any person being in a kind of relationship with Brian Fury, or even even considering trying to fuck Brian Fury. First of all, he's a cyborg, so we don't even know if his dick works. Or he could have an ultra robo dick, which, you know, I mean, he's solar powered, or not solar powered, but he's powered of something. Dr. B's generator, so maybe he can go all night. Maybe it's the best sex you have in your life. But if Anna's not a nice person, Brian definitely isn't a nice person. So he's gonna ghost you, and in fact, he may do something worse. I'll just say this: Dr. B and Yoshimitsu saved his life at the end of Tekken 4, and if you know your Tekken lore, you would know how he repaid them. So I would avoid Brian at all costs. Third place, Claudia. This is maybe a bit stereotypical here, but I have a close friend. She is Italian, and she says she never wants to date Italian men ever again. So my decision pretty much came from that. Yeah, Claudio is an Italian stallion. Probably gets around. Younger looking guy. He's the head of his own organization. I imagine he's a bit arrogant from what we saw of Tekken 7. And yeah, Claudio, fuckboy. Fourth man we have is Dr. B. And admittedly, I made this list a few months ago, and I'm not actually sure as to why he's here. Maybe in his youth, back in the day, doctors, you know, very high-end job. He was a very high-value man, that's what the women say these days. Maybe that got to his head a bit. I'm sure in his youth, he probably had his fun. Raven. You know, does anyone wonder if he likes his boss? Maybe Raven and Master Raven, you know, maybe they got a thing going on. Maybe he calls her Master in the bedroom. Who knows? 6, we have Eliza. I think I put her because she reminds me of Morrigan from Darkstalkers. And Morrigan is definitely a fuckgirl character. And I see I've made an error when I said Anna Williams was the only chick in this category. No, Eliza's here as well. Basically, she's here because I imagine she's like Morrigan. That may be wrong, but it is what it is. Next up, Fakuram. Now, originally, and I will post a link of it, I put this tier dating list on Reddit, and some guy was arguing with me that Fakuram shouldn't be here. He even wrote out the back lore of his of Fakuram character and said that he's very loyal to his country, and he's gone to extreme lengths to demonstrate that. So he's in the wrong category. I'm not gonna lie, while I'm a big Tekken fan, I'm not the biggest fan of Tekken 7, and so I didn't follow a lot of the DLC. Basically, long story short, I have no fucking idea of what this man's story is. So basically I put Fakuran there because he's about 7 foot tall. And what I know is that chicks love tall men. So he's probably got his pick of the bunch. And I imagine it may have gone to his head. That was my reasoning there. Take that as it is. Moving on. Now apologies here. The next 3 characters, I mean, you should be able to make out who they are, but the tier maker logo is covering them, so I apologize for that. But our next character is Forest Law. Look at his face. I don't mean, if you look at his Tekken 2 CG portrait picture, he's got troll face. I imagine he's a bit of a troll. Forest Law, unlike his father, grew up in quite a luxurious lifestyle. If you look at his Tekken 3 profile, it says he likes credit cards. Time gap, I should say, between Tekken 2, Tekken 3. The Laws were doing well, money-wise, and this is where Forrest grew up. So I reckon he's a man who hasn't grown up with much struggle, and I reckon he's a bit of a fuckboy. Look at that face. Moving on, Geese Howard from SNK, from the Fatal Fury series. We know he's got a kid, Rock Howard. We don't know much about his wife, or at least I don't know much about his wife. I'm not the biggest SNK, Fatal Fury, King of Fighters fan, so I know the main gist of the story, but I don't know much about Geese's family life. And he's a mafia boss, essentially, of South Town. So I imagine those guys aren't the most loyal, so that's why he's there. Next place, Horan. Now people may think he's going around the world chasing Jin Kazama, probably because he's in love with the guy. But I reckon before Horan met Jin, he was on these streets, slaying up the local gallum in Korea. So yeah, that's why he's there. Maybe he's changed. Or maybe, while he's in love with Jin, which is just a funny joke amongst the Tekken community, he's still fucking these chicks on the side. That's what I think, and that's why he's there. Next up, Kazuya Mishima. I think Kazuya is probably the biggest fuckboy in the entire series. Kazuya don't give a shit about nothing or nothing like. He's a very handsome man. Head of G Corp. I'm sure this guy gets bitches. Have you seen this man's swag? God damn. Moving on. Li Xiaolan. He's more openly a ladies' boy. And I don't think he's tied down to one woman. Like I said, he had the thing with Anna back in the day. Seemingly. In the Tekken movie, the cartoon one, which came out in the 90s, apparently there was a scene where it implied he was seeing both Anna and Nina at the same time. That's all you need to know. Moving on. Craig Murdock. I think out of the recent characters, he is the one who shows his pleasure for the ladies the most. I remember seeing in one of his profiles that, you know, everyone has their likes and dislikes, and one of his was women. He has a cutscene of Anna Williams in Tekken 5. He very much likes what he sees. After they fight and he wins, I'll just say go and watch the video because I don't want to talk about it here. Moving on. Miguel Caballero. Maybe this man's too drunk to be a fuckboy. I don't know. But I mean, he's a good looking guy. He goes to bars a lot. So yeah, that's why I put him in this list. Negan. Again, much like Fakuran, I have never seen The Walking Dead. So I don't really know what this man's about. Maybe anyone who has seen the show clearly state that this man's in the wrong category. However, when I posted it on Reddit, I did not get any flack for this entry here. So maybe Negan is in the right place. Moving on. Wang Jinrei. I think when you pair Wang against the girl in Tekken, which isn't Xiaoyu, he goes all Master Roshi. And he's like, she's hot, blah, blah, blah. Which leads me to believe that Wang Jinrei, back in the day, was about this life. Who knows? I mean, now my man's apparently 105, which is ridiculous, but this is Tekken. So, you can't do much about it now, but back in the day, I reckon Wang Jinrei was a bit of a player. And the last fuckboy we have is Armor King. I put him there because he's the meaner king. We don't know much about him. And, yeah, let's say he's a fuckboy. I mean, in the words of Jim Cornette, he's a heel. So, which means bad guy wrestler. So I just imagine he's a fuckboy. There it is. Moving on. We are now in the has fun category. So